A district analytical report of the 2010 population and housing census has been launched by the Ghana Statistical Service with the aim of providing government and stakeholders information to address socio-economic issues at the district level. The report provides a basis for assessing the achievement of various policies and interventions.
The analytical report contains an in-depth analysis of various topics covered in the 2010 census, including disability, information, communication and technology in agriculture. The census coordinator maintained access to improved sanitation over the years and the rising number of dwelling units, with access to water closet continuing to be a major challenge at the district level. He urged stakeholders to help address these challenges.
One of the key issues that we find from the reports, and that cuts across almost every district, is sanitation. People dispose of their waste, both liquid and solid, indiscriminately. A lot of our people still depend on water from all kinds of sources for drinking. And we think that we need to intensify our effort at getting potable water to the people. We also find, in fact, in many of the rural districts, especially in northern Ghana, that education is still low. Literacy levels are still very low, especially for females. And so there's a need to intensify education on the importance of getting people to go to school, especially the girl child.
The local government minister, Julius Debra, called for the timely release of census report to make them relevant for evidence-based policies and programs.
Reports produced from previous population and housing census in Ghana have always been at the national and regional levels. This is the first time that analytical reports on the census have been produced at the district level. It is for this reason that I find these reports very important documents that will provide the necessary indicators for planning at the district level. It is my fervent hope that metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies and other data users will make maximum use of the findings from the district census reports for effective planning at the district level for better outcomes.
The reports will be made available on the Ghana Statistical Service website.
Now, local government officials from Turkana County in Kenya say they are impressed with Ghana's automated revenue collection system, which they intend to implement in their own country to minimize leakages. The officials have been learning best practices in tax collection and budgeting in Ghana over the past few days.
The officials from the executive and legislative branch of the Turkana County government visited the Ministry of Finance and Institute of Local Government, where they learned about Ghana's automated and decentralized revenue collection systems.
The issue of automation will assist in generating enough revenue. And then the use of mapping, whereby mapping the so-called revenue collection centers, so that it becomes very easy to understand whether you have gotten revenue from all aspects expected. And we also learned about expanding revenue base, whereby we need to have institutions invite investors to open up major projects here and there.
Revenue collection has been challenging for authorities of Turkana, a county with a population of approximately 1.2 million, having to collect taxes manually over the years.
People who are charged with revenue collection have a challenge in terms of travel to access banks and do the deposits or receiving of what they collect. We have already sent out bids to do the automation work. So we plan to ensure that we understand the system in this year. We also want to do a lot of data installation and updating in the system. And in the next year, we will begin to run, which means by December next year, 2015, we will be able to understand that either we are getting it right or not.
Authorities are hopeful The new automation system, when implemented, will seal leakages in the system to enable development of the county.
Now, the convener for Women's Manifesto Coalition in Ghana, Hamida Harrison, has stressed the need for affirmative action to get more women to participate in governance and decision-making. Given the overview of the status of women globally and in Ghana, she maintained that although government has made some efforts in addressing gender-based issues, there's still more to be done.
According to her, in a system where women have been relegated to the background for some time, there is the need for government to fully implement affirmative action to provide opportunities for women with the potential to participate in the governance processes.
Implementation has been a problem because laws, once you pass them, it's not just passing a law, they become white elephants. So they are allies to be passed. But if that is not done, then the law becomes like dormant. Doesn't really work because the instruments to be able to make it work are not there. For example, if you take the Domestic Violence Act, since 2007, it has been passed in 2007, and the legislative instrument is not there, the LI is not there. So it is important that these things are done so implementation has been a problem.
The convener for NetRight Ghana, Dr. Ikweabritum, believes that women's participation and representation in decision-making, particularly at the grassroots, is a right as well as means to address the systematic causes of gender inequality and poverty.
The first thing really is a facilitation of a space for engagement. We noted that we together with some of the two other coalitions, Women's Manifesto Coalition and the Domestic Violence Coalition, had already created a platform that we've been engaging with the ministry. For us, the most important thing is government's commitment towards women. Now, these commitments, first of all, are captured within the Beijing Platform for Action, and the government adopted 7 critical areas.
These calls were made during a presentation of the coalition's end-of-year review of the status of women in Ghana. Network for Women's Rights in Ghana, NetRight, is a coalition of gender-based non-governmental organizations in the country.
Now, Local Government Minister Julius Deborah says starting January 1st, 2015, his outfit would implement a sanitation business module to provide potable water and 20,000 toilet facilities to communities across the country for domestic and commercial purposes.
The Sanitation Day initiative by the Local Government Ministry has attracted private and public support. The latest institution to lend its support is the Environmental Protection Agency. The Chief Executive Officer of the EPA, Daniel Amalalu, believes protection of the environment is a constitutional mandate of the citizenry. The need for them to play critical roles by keeping the country clean.
The protection of the environment is the responsibility of each and everyone, and that's a constitutional duty which everyone must uphold. We want to take this further by saying that we need to revive all the structures at the grassroots levels. Some years back, the Environmental Protection Agency initiated committees at the grassroots level and at the district levels so that environmental issues, including sanitation issues, can be taken at that level. This we need to revive.
Basic amenities like water and toilet facilities have been deficient in homes across the country, forcing people to defecate in the open. To solve that problem, the Minister of Local Government, Julius Deborah, says starting January 2015, his sector will implement a sanitation business model to fix the problem.
The business model is open to every Ghanaian who want to own a toilet either in their homes or own a toilet facility that they will run as an enterprise. So I thought I should mention this to you. In fact, when we finish, we will not finish the model 1, we will introduce a second one that has to do with provision of water, sanitation business model number 2. And what we intend doing with water is that homes that want boreholes sunk for them, We'll provide it on to be paid by installment basis.
Julius Debra also debunked allegations that each sanitation day exercise cost 3 million Ghana cedis. The Chief Executive Officer of the Environmental Protection Agency, among other things, advised the ministry to find creative ways of sustaining the program. Latif Idrisus reports for Joy News.
Now, majority of human rights abuse cases in the Ashanti region go unresolved due to lack of funds to investigate and prosecute offenders. Officials at the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice charge say about 90% of cases reported at the regional office are human rights abuses. Now, abuse of patients at health facilities are among over 1,000 cases recorded in the region in the first 9 months of this year. Correspondent Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has more.
Human rights are rights inherent to all human beings. Every citizen of the country is entitled to human rights without discrimination. Fundamental human needs are not negotiable and cannot be compromised. Protection of rights is essential for conflict prevention and promotion of peace. This year, International Human Rights Day was marked under the theme Human Rights, a Youthful Concern. Ashanti Regional Director of SWAJ, Mercy Labi, emphasizes the need for systems to allow the youth to participate constructively in establishing social justice. She says it is the only way to overcome discrimination and exploitation in all forms.
If you go on to know your rights more, you respect other people's rights. And a time will come that the generation will know that rights are very important, and therefore we have to respect it. And some work easier for some people.
Mrs. Labi laments situations where officials are unable to handle human rights abuses cases due to financial constraints. Regional Director of the Police Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit, DOFSU, DSP Benjamin Dokrugo, also spoke about psychological and emotional abuse children go through in the hands of relatives.
Some of us will live with stepfathers and stepmothers. We live with aunties, people who are not our biological parents, and we go through so much abuse. There's another form of abuse that we record most of the time: emotional abuse. Somebody can insult you. Your stepfather or stepmother can insult you. If your father could have taken care of you, why are you here? Your insult insults your parents, and it makes you feel so bad. You are a hurt inside. They make you feel worthless, useless. That is what we call psychological or emotional abuse. It's an abuse and a violation of people's rights. Some people are even afraid to go to their homes. We will refer to the Department of Social Welfare.
United Nations Association of Ghana, Ashanti Regional President Prince Kweku Nsi, dismisses claims that the United Nations promotes homosexuality as human rights, adding it is not part of the 30 articles to the human rights law.
The UN as a body does not accept or has not declared on any platform that homosexuality is a right of the individual, or it is part of the 30 articles of the human rights law. Every sovereign country has its laws that regulate its citizens. Therefore, Ghana, as a country with its laws, frowns on such undesirable behavior.
A report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
You're still watching the Prime Time Bulletin here on Joy News on Multi TV and also on ABN TV across Europe. We'll take a breather. Please don't go away. You're welcome back and many thanks for staying. Now, in other stories, President John Dramani Mahama will be a special guest at the 51st Independence Anniversary celebration of the Republic of Kenya on Friday, December 12. President Mahama, who left Accra Thursday this morning, is paying a 3-day state visit to Nairobi at the invitation of President Uhuru Kenyatta. President Mahama's invitation follows a resolve by the new Kenyan leader to rekindle the fraternal bond and relations between his father, Jomo Kenyatta, and Ghana's first president, Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Discussions between the two African leaders is expected to focus on how Ghana and Kenya can influence a new agenda of increased trade among African countries. President Mahama, chair of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and President Uhuru Kenyatta, chair of the East African Community, will also share their perspectives on how to drive the African Renaissance and integration process. President John Mahama will visit the Mzee Jomo Kenyatta Mausoleum and meet with the United Nations staff in Kenya. On Friday evening, President Mahama will meet and interact with the Ghanaian community in Kenya. President Mahama will also head to Abuja for an ECOWAS meeting before heading back home on 15th December 2014. Now, the Chief of Staff, Prosper Bani, has met with tribal chiefs of the Zongo communities in Kaswa. The chiefs paid a courtesy call on President John Mahama. Speaking on behalf of the President, the Chief of Staff reiterated what he described as the President's commitment to developing Ghana as a whole and Kaswa in particular. Meeting originally scheduled between President Mahama and the chiefs of Kaswa was held at the Flagstaff House. In a speech read on his behalf by the Secretary of Council of Tribal Chiefs, Odikro of Kaswa, Nai Seidu Yusuf Abdullahi II, was full of praise for the government for what they say are fulfillment of its promises.
We are here today to express our sincere gratitude to you and your government for the following reasons. 1. The fulfillment of your promise to the chiefs and people to construct the Kaswa interchange during the 2012 campaign. 2. The establishment of the Awutu Senya East Municipal Assembly with the headquarters at Kaswa per Legislative Instrument 2025. The upgrading and construction of the Kaswa Health Center into a modern polyclinic.
Chief of Staff Prosper Bani said Kaswa and the entire country should anticipate some more developmental projects from the presidency.
He has officially launched the Kaswa Interchange project, which is one of the major infrastructure work on road construction that this country is going to witness. These are some of the initiatives that he has committed to you. I must say that beyond Kaswa, the President is committed to developing major infrastructure projects in this country. Roads, hospitals, and education are key areas that he has focused on in the past 2 years. Notwithstanding the challenges around power provision and water supplies, which he's equally committed to, and the challenges that has befell this country in the last couple of months in these sectors, I can assure you that in the next couple of months, these challenges of power supply will become a challenge of the past.
He urged them to maintain peaceful correlations, endeavor to be mindful of their environment, and prioritize education in their various communities. In all, 17 tribes were represented. Gifty Andopia, Joy News, Flagstaff House. Vice President Kwesi Bekoye Mr. Arthur has urged the Korean mission in Ghana to cooperate with Ghanaian counterparts to balance import and export relations between the two countries. The Vice President was engaging the new Korean ambassador to Ghana, Leon Won-ki, at the Flagstaff House. The Korean ambassador to Ghana was at the Flagstaff House to pledge his country's commitment to partnering Ghana in both countries' development agenda. He told Vice President Emisa Arthur his country intends to develop the relations beyond political and economic levels.
So the Republic of Korea is ready to support and ready to be as a good partner in the path of the economic development of Ghana. As an ambassador of Republic of Korea in Ghana, I can say that I do my best and everything I can do to be a good partner and to support the Ghana's development in every aspect, not only in economy. Also, I'd like to enhance our good relations in other areas culture and also people-to-people contacts, and also the health and also the other infrastructures development.
Vice President Emita Arthur noted some outstanding issues between the countries should be thrashed out as early as possible.
And I think that there's already a discussion about bilateral investment between Ghana and Korea. We'll need to conclude that process, and I know that the next meeting is going to be held in Accra, and we hope that we'll agree on a time very quickly so that we can proceed on that. I'm also looking at the trade between Ghana, the statistics, trade between Ghana and Korea, and again, it's very much in favor of Korea. You export more to us than we export to you. We have to balance that equation a little bit, and we hope that that will be seen as also a process in which it provides a lot of employment to our people. We know that staff from the Ministry of Agriculture are in your country looking at the experience of the Korean model in agricultural transformation so that we can also transform our culture. So there are many areas that we can work together, and that is a wish of the President that we cooperate with the Republic of Korea in order to enhance the economic possibilities that exist between our two countries.
They later went into a closed-door meeting. Gifty Andopia, Joy News, Flagstaff House. In other news, the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation says the current load shedding in the country, coupled with efforts to digitize their operations to meet the deadline for the digital migration in 2015, have created huge financial burden for the company. They want government to enforce the payment of the TV license fee as part of several efforts to generate revenue for the national broadcaster.
The Ghana Broadcasting Corporation says they are facing serious challenges which are hampering their services. Digital migration and TV license fee collection of 30 pesos per annum for domestic users is also impracticable. The Director General of Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Major Retired Albert Donchebe, says balancing free public service broadcasting and commercial broadcasting makes it difficult for them to raise enough revenue. Major Retired Albert Donchebe says GBC is facing terrible power challenges because of the erratic national supply of power.
We have terrible power challenges. The cost of power has increased over 100% in 1 year, impacting severely on our finances. And power for us in GBC is critical. Now remember, we are a public service broadcaster. What it means is that we provide services to places which may not be economically viable. But as a national or a state broadcaster, we are compelled to extend our services across the country. Time has overtaken the law. There's a need for us to put our heads together and revise this law.
Deputy Minister of Communications Ato Sapon says the TV license fee will have to be amended by Parliament so they can generate enough revenue.
The idea is to move that one up between 3 cedis and 5 cedis. That is something that Parliament will have to pass. Okay, so we are taking it to Parliament. We've already started a consultation, and we are sure that once we make a good case for it, that at the end of the day we are not collecting this money only for GBC. It is not only for GBC, because it's not only GBC people see in their homes. There are other private TV stations who also play a role. Apart from the fact that of ensuring that the figure moves from 30 pesos to a reasonable figure between 3 cedis and 5 cedis, it is also going to be a fund that may be available to all broadcasters.
Beatrice Sower's report for Joy News.
Standing by with business news, please stay.
Hello, thank you for staying tuned for Business with me, Matilda Nyakwa Kweku. Parliament has adopted the 2015 budget estimates for the fiscal support agreement and security package term between government and Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, ENI and Vitol amidst strong protest from the minority. The loan agreement is expected to be used to develop the Sankofa and Jinyame oil and gas projects.
The minority's concern is the limited time given the House to adopt the agreement after the report was laid by the Joint Committee on Finance and Energy and Mines. According to them,
The GNPC's recent financial record gives cause to scrutinize the report. The ranking member of the Finance Committee, Dr. Antonia Kutose, asked that more time is given for the consideration of the report. A stance the Energy Minister, Emmanuel Amakofibua, disagreed.
I think that if we want to do the government of Ghana a favor, we should hasten slowly and do the proper thing. We are being asked to do this because some of us have some deadline. We should not mind that. It would be in our interest in celebrating this matter, so that when we are doing, at least everybody will know that we did our job. As I'm afraid we are not. We are rushing in 10 days to approve a very, very big project. And I don't think we are not doing it. And I ask you that if that is what we want to do, we should create a form and invite GFPC and do that. But that debate, that scrutiny of GFPC must be done on its own. I was saying that this debate about approval of this project must not be really mixed up with the issues, about broader issues of GFPs. And I'm all for the scrutiny which advocates has the right to do.
This generated heated debate on the floor.
Expenditure captured by GFPs. In their expenditure, my understanding for expenditure is simple. That money that has been spent. Meanwhile, going through line by line in a chronological order, I realized 60 million has been set aside and they did not use it. Meanwhile, Mr. Speaker, they came to the floor of the House asking for $295 million. I challenged them. They clandestinely, when that was secretly, came and withdrew their budget and reduced it by $60 million. So anything we are talking about GMPs, we should have time, go through it, and make sure it is in the interest of the country and not past. They are nothing here in nature. And it is not that for me that the whole amount is exhausted or must be exhausted in the current year. It is prudent to set aside if you are targeting a project in a multi-year framework to hold balances at the end of the year. Mr. Speaker, there is nothing wrong with it. Mr. Speaker, indeed, this is the conclusion behind even the form, the 2014 form. Two honorable colleagues just highlighted 2 days, and I will have the third one. The honorable member for Kapu just talked about GMPC being paid for the PR report. The honorable member for Assin Central has just talked about GMPC just hiding by their expenditure, $60 million that is involved. Mr. Speaker, I'm saying 2 days, and I've had questions to let us know that those sums of money that GNPC has not appropriated, what are they doing with those sums? Mr. Speaker, nobody seems to care. Mr. Speaker, when they bought the petroleum agreement, the sums of money that the Minister for Energy promised that they will come to account. The 1 million, 1.5, 1 million, 1.5, up to now, the promise has not materialized. Mr. Speaker, how can an investor wait from 2006 for new processes to be undertaken by a country up to 2014? A committee of 43 members was given the time to go and look at it. They have reported to the House unanimously, and that you can say that this thing is being rushed through Parliament.
Of sports now, and we're just over 5 weeks until the start of the Africa Cup of Nations in Equatorial Guinea. There are real concerns the facilities needed will not be ready for use. 2 of the stadia were used when the country hosted the tournament in 2012, but in addition, 2 brand new stadia are being built in the cities of Bibian and Mongomo, which will host the Black Stars. Remember, Equatorial Guinea was only confirmed in mid-November after CAF took it away from Morocco. The BBC's One Stan has been there to see on first hand the state of work that's been going on. Now we can move on and do some boxing. We'll try and get that sorted. Before that, though, let's do some boxing. And US-based Basti Sameh says he's ready to fight undefeated Brian Makamoko, popularly known as Bukumbanku, anywhere if he agrees to. Sameh, who trains and spars with undefeated pound-for-pound Ken Floyd Mayweather, is calling on Bukumbanku to settle on terms for their grudge fight to come on. He says he's bent on ending Banku's undefeated record and spoke to Joy Sports.
I mean, I'm not afraid of Banku because I called him. I'm begging him to sign the contract. So I'm not afraid of him. I'm ready at any time. Even if they want, they should make it 26 December. I'm ready.
One time.
I'll start training and everything. So by right now, the important thing is, you haven't signed the contract, but you'll be saying that I'm going to fight, I want 2 billion, 1.8 billion, all this stuff. I mean, you should just mention normal money, you know, and the promoter is going to pay him so we can fight. But right now, I can be like, yeah, I'll fight. But you haven't signed a contract there, nothing proved, you haven't proved. So it's signed the contract, and we need the contract. I mean, I'm not looking at the money. You know, if the promoters we're going to talk about the money. It's about the money issue is between the promoter and my uncle, chief director of youth and sport, Delali Akubu. You know, so I mean, I don't care about I don't care about the man. I want to beat him up and prove a point. Why? Why I have to afraid of Banku? That's all. Boxing is man to man.
That's your sports. I'm George Adejunior.
Let's do some showbiz now. The Ashanti Regional Police Commander DCOP Kofi Boache has denied allegations of bias against popular Ghanaian hip-life artist Carl Kese. The musician was arrested after allegedly smoking substances suspected to be cannabis in public.
It's a offense of drug use, but let's also look at the act of impunity. I told you that it is not what you do, but how you do it in the world. It is not where you are, but who you are. So it's not a matter that as simple as using drug, but the act of impunity, the act of carelessness, the act of lawlessness. Because how can you go out to a pub, in front of the pub, and you sit down and start smoking? Even in Holland, Washington, where it is legalized, you dare not smoke outside. You have to go to the coffee shop, even where it is legalized. Even public smoking of cigarette is prohibited. How much more we? And the law is law. I have people coming to me, a lot of people. Oh, Kofi, this one there, you people have to reduce. And I'm saying, how can you, compromise on the law? Sir, this is not selling tomatoes where you say, oh, reduce it to 5 cedis or. I cannot do that. My work is to present the facts as I see it to the judiciary. And I will only do so when I realize that there's a prima facie case established. We are not the adjudicating officers. So when we send it to court, the court in its own wisdom. But one mistake people are doing is, why should people say that they are going to form free coagulative group and all those? Is he a political prisoner? And that was a grievous mistake. I must tell you today, grievous mistake. And it will not inure to the benefit of the accused. But why him, but not the others? Is it because he's a musician? That brings it back to the discrimination in the enforcement of the law. And I've said it time and time and again that in Kumasi, in Ashanti region, nobody will be discriminated against. Fairness. And the police here is acting like a hot stove. When the hot stove is plugged, and you are a rich man, you touch it, it will burn you. You are a laborer, it will burn. But it will not burn the rich man less than the... Is that right? So it's not personal. It's not accentuated by malice. Just that we are doing our work. Nobody went to Kwakasi's room to smell his mouth and search him to arrest him. He was smoking openly 20 meters from a police barrier. And if police have not arrested him, what do you think will happen to the confidence and trust that the people have for police? And what do you think will happen to other people who have been arrested based on even something that is not even up to this level? Is that right? So Kwakasi's case is not merely smoking. That's why we had smoking in public. The act of impunity And that is what we must all detest. That is what we must all prevent, because we are governed by law and order. And without law and order, there cannot be economic development. So people who are talking, oh, no, it's not as simple as we, but smoking weed in public is the problem.
That is the voice of DCOP Kofi Boache, Ashanti Regional Police Commander, ending the showbiz segment. Having you, my name is Gifty Ando Apia. There's more news. I'm at joyonline.com and multitvworld.com. Up next is PM Express with Nana Ansakwa. You can follow me on Twitter. I tweet at JNewsGifty. Also on Facebook. Do have a good evening and stay for Nana Ansakwa.